your legacy to be? I mean, I know you're 22. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I
jump, but
know.
like if you could be like, hey, this is what I want to be in my art as.
I don't know, right now it's hard to say what I want my legacy to be, what I want people to say when I'm long gone trained. And I want people to look at me as a full-on entertainer and a good person. So, we'll talk a few years down the line and we'll see where my head is.
Before Static Major passed, there were whispers that he knew way more about Aaliyah's death than he ever dared to say. Static and Aaliyah weren't just collaborators, they were tight. And they both died young, under some seriously shady circumstances. Aaliyah's plane crash was labeled an accident and Static's death. They pinned it on a sudden medical issue. But when you line up the timing, the key players, and the eerie silence that followed both tragedies, it's hard not to think something deeper was going on. See, Static wasn't just some songwriter for Aaliyah. He helped craft that whole futuristic R&B sound that made her iconic. He was right there when her biggest tracks came to life, close enough to catch everything going down behind the curtain. After Aaliyah passed, Static didn't cause a scene. He moved on like the rest, but got quiet. Real quiet. More guarded. And then he started dropping little clues, talking about how dangerous the music industry really is, especially for folks who are too pure for that game. Now this is where things get wild. Word on the street is, Static was keeping a diary during that whole era, writing down everything he couldn't say out loud. Names, shady events, stuff he saw, stuff he heard, all the dark secrets buried in the music biz. That diary, it's never been made public. Some say it vanished right after Static died, but a few pages allegedly leaked online, and just from that, you could tell he was holding on to something serious. Then boom, he dies too, out of nowhere. And get this. It happened right as he was gearing up for a solo comeback. Let's clear something up real quick. Too many folks sleep on Static Major like he was just some background writer. Nah. Static, born Stephen Garrett, was one of the most powerful forces behind late 90s and early 2000s R&B, whether people realize it or not. Yeah, he was in the group Playa, but his real magic happened behind the scenes. Static didn't just write catchy hooks, he built sound. He had that rare gift, an ear for what was next, not just what was trending, but what was about to shake the whole game. Aaliyah once said it straight, I'm responsible for like the majority of the hits that came out. The big ones, your favorite ones. The last decade, I did Pony, I did Dirty South. Can y'all really feel me? East Coast, feel me? I did Rock the Boat. I did It's So Contagious, Returns My Pages. Then Static added, this was my first time working with Dr. Director. What's up, Doc? Me and Doc laid it down. He moved so fast. We finished the song, and by the time I got back to Louisville, I heard it on the radio. That's how fast it moved. I did Same Old G. I did Soul Anxious. Man, a whole lot of babies got made that year. You know what I'm saying? Static said it loud. Courtesy of me, y'all want to talk about get back to the population? I wrote that. Yup, short ass say what's your price? Just to back it up. That was me. Open up my eyes. My first time working with Nas, you feel me? And once again, straight magic. What else did I do? Don't change the game for these girls. We played the game like we broke. Yeah, that was me on the hook too. And dude ain't even call me for the video, but it's all good. Now, when it comes to Static's bond with Aaliyah, it wasn't just business. She wasn't some artist he worked with from a distance. Aaliyah was one of the few people in the game he was really close to. Static co-wrote some of her biggest classics, Are You That Somebody, Try Again, We Need a Resolution, and More Than a Woman. Her cool, laid-back vocals matched Static's slick writing like magic, and together they created a sound that was way ahead of its time. But their connection went deeper than just the music. Folks who were around back then say there was a real mutual respect between them. And yeah, there were even whispers that they were more than just friends. According to Static's own mom, the two actually dated for a short time in 1998 before deciding to keep it strictly friendship. Static's mom told the source they were definitely an item. Aaliyah was crazy about him. She even said Static brought Aaliyah to her wedding. That was huge, since Aaliyah's parents barely let her go anywhere like that. So when Aaliyah tragically passed in August 2001, it wasn't just a blow to Static's career, it hit him deep. But here's the part most people miss. Static didn't milk her name. He didn't ride the clout wave like so many others. Instead, he got quiet, started moving real cautious, like he was protecting something bigger. And that's what makes what came next so suspicious. After Aaliyah's death, something in Static shifted. He didn't vanish, but he definitely stayed out of the spotlight. Static kept penning hits for big names, Genuine, Truth Hurts, Brandy, and later even Lil Wayne. And if you didn't know, that's Static's voice on the hook of Lollipop, one of Wayne's biggest smashes. But behind closed doors, Static was focused on something way more personal, his own solo project. Static was finally stepping out of the shadows, ready to tell his story front and center. His solo album, Supper Time, was confirmed to be in the works before he passed in 2008, but it never officially dropped. The project was reportedly almost done, tracks recorded, lined up, ready to go. Then suddenly, Static was gone, and just like that, the album got shelved with no warning, no rollout, nothing. To this day, it's still unreleased. Nobody really knows if the full project still exists, where it ended up, or if we'll ever get to hear it. But here's what's wild. Insiders who helped build the album said Static wasn't just singing about love and sexy vibes like folks expected. Some of the tracks were darker and more cryptic, and one allegedly even mentioned Aaliyah's name. On top of everything else, Static had been keeping notes, writing in a journal. People close to him said he planned to speak out about what really went down, but he was waiting for the right time. Sadly, that time never came. On February 25, 2008, Static walked into the hospital saying he had flu-like symptoms and shortness of breath. Just a few days later, he was gone. Just like that. No autopsy report was ever released to the public. No investigation, no follow-up, nothing. Static was only 33 years old.
She was unconscious. She didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement about a plane crash?
He left behind his wife, Avanti Garrett, and 4 kids. His family later filed a medical negligence lawsuit against Baptist Hospital East in Louisville, Kentucky, and questions still linger about what really happened that week. They eventually settled the case out of court, but the real cause of Static's death? Still a mystery. And here's the thing. You don't gotta be deep into conspiracies to see the pattern. Static Major wasn't the first artist in the game to die young, and he sure wasn't the last. The music industry's got a long, messy history of people passing under weird, unresolved circumstances, and Static's story fits right into that shadow. Which brings us right back to Aaliyah, her death. It wasn't just tragic, it was suspicious. The timeline was rushed, the reports were all over the place, and nothing quite added up. Over 20 years later, we're still asking the same questions. Why was she even on that plane? Who signed off on it? And why was she given a sleeping pill and carried on board? One eyewitness, Kingsley Russell, said Aaliyah didn't even want to get on that plane. She went back to a taxi, complaining of a headache. Then, someone from her team gave her a pill, and not long after, they carried her unconscious onto that plane. Kingsley's family ran a taxi service in the Bahamas, where Aaliyah was filming her final music video, Rock the Boat. He saw everything go down, Aaliyah's final moments, and just hours later, she and everyone on board were gone. The plane went down right after takeoff, crashing about 200 feet past the end of the runway. Official reports claim the plane was overloaded and that one of the engines failed. But the story never sat right. Too many inconsistencies, too many versions. And over 2 decades later, people still don't know what really happened. You gotta ask, why would anyone call a plane crash murder? Even if Mary didn't mean it literally, that's a wild choice of words. Super strange. And then she said, from what I know, it wasn't supposed to go down like that. So, what did she know? And why won't she break it down, even all these years later? After that, people started putting the pieces together. Big names started popping up, R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and the questions only got louder. When it comes to R. Kelly, it wasn't just some messy relationship. He victimized Aaliyah and illegally married her when she was just 15, and he was 27. That ain't hearsay. It's documented, confirmed, and part of the case that eventually locked him up. But even after that disturbing truth came out, other powerful men in the industry still preyed on Aaliyah. According to Dame Dash, Jay-Z knew what R. Kelly did and still chose to collaborate with him. Meanwhile, Jay allegedly became obsessed with Aaliyah himself, trying hard to win her over. But Aaliyah picked Dame. And if you believe what Jaguar Wright's been saying for years, Jay-Z didn't handle that rejection well at all. Jaguar claims Jay-Z's ego couldn't take the L. Aaliyah was a threat to his image, his plans, maybe even his future. And the theory? It gets even darker. Some believe he wanted her gone, to hurt Dame and clear the path for Beyoncé. But here's one thing that's undeniable. From the very start, Aaliyah was surrounded by powerful, predatory men. And the people who were supposed to shield her, they failed her. The few real ones who did try to protect her, like Static Major and DMX, somehow all ended up gone too, under some seriously sketchy circumstances. Now, some insiders say Static didn't fully know what was going on in the beginning, but after Aaliyah's death, everything shifted for him. That's when his whole view of the music game flipped. That's when he started writing that diary. That's when his lyrics took a darker turn. And now, some old interviews are resurfacing, where Static straight up talked about how twisted the industry is, how folks will smile in your face while plotting to take you out behind your back. So if Static was really trying to protect Aaliyah or expose what really happened, it makes sense why he might have been silenced too. But I want to hear what you think. Was Aaliyah's death just a tragic accident? Or was something way darker playing out behind the scenes? Did Static Major know the truth? And was he taken out before he could speak? Drop all your theories in the comments. Don't hold back. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs to see it, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. See you in the next one.